Hey YouTube, welcome to RV Daydream. If you guys don't know, we have a Rockwood 2604 WS and we ran into a problem with our steps. Now, we have the MORryde STEPABOVE steps. They are the ones that fold up basically on their own because they are like spring tensioned. But we did run into a problem. Let me show you what we've got, what their solution was for MORryde, and what we had to do. And this might be something you want to do.
What have you been up to?
I've been riding on a daydream.
So again, a Rockwood, it's a 2020 2604 WS. Doesn't really make a difference though. Any RV that has these step above steps. Now we have a 3-step. That's kind of a real popular step to have. Some of the bigger fifth wheels, you might have a 4-step. And then there's other brands that look a lot like this, but they're not MORryde. And they may have like a large landing step. That's not, again, the case with these. This is a MORryde STEPABOVE. So if you don't know how these work, which I'm suspecting you do because you have one, or maybe you're considering an RV that has these type steps, but they're pretty self-explanatory. Underneath this cover here and mounted in the RV is a spring, a shock spring setup, and it allows you to put the steps away really easy. As you can see here, there was no effort. They just kind of hold themselves up in the air. Where the problem starts to come into play is whenever you get into very unlevel situations. Now, we've done 2 camping trips that we've run into a situation where the tongue of the RV was pretty much all the way down to the ground, and the back of the RV was up in the air quite a bit. Well, you're in a situation where you'd really hate them because this rear step can't be used. If I try to put this step out, check this out. It's a good laugh. Look at this. Now these legs go down a little bit further, but they're quite a bit extended. They're almost all the way extended. Look at that. I mean, this thing, I don't know if you can tell, but it's up to my knee. The first step's up to my knee. The other situation was when we were out in Hershey, PA, and the side-to-side leveling of the RV, we had to put 6 inches worth of stack of wood underneath the tires so that we could get this thing leveled out. So as you can imagine, you would have to then adjust these steps to allow for the correct height of the ground. The best part about these steps by far is when people go in and out of the RV, because they're supported with the ground, you don't feel the RV shake at all. And they're very simple to, again, retract and just put them up inside the RV. But in that situation that I had where the steps were way too high, I mean, they were just crazy high off the ground, the adjustment arms, there weren't enough increments and not enough length for it to fully extend and meet the ground. Even if it was that way, you would still have to have a platform step to get up to the first step because it was so high off the ground. I mean, the first step was about this high. So we do have a platform. I'll show you that also. Of course, I'll put the links down below for that step so you can also utilize it if you want. But the whole thing is we haven't camped in the RV but maybe 6 times since we've owned it, and out of those 6 times, 2 of the times we did run into a problem with the steps not reaching the ground. So we wanted to address that. So let me show you what we did, and I'm going to finish them out today and we're going to install them. So you can see this is what comes from the factory from MORryde. This is what comes at least on this model, the 2604. If we start manufacturing these, if you guys feel as if you have a desire for these, you're going to have to reuse your feet. Now the feet on these, they're aluminum, so they're a little softer, so they kind of grab into the asphalt or rocks or whatever that you're working with. And they, of course, have a tendency not to rust even more. These are powder-coated steel. It's the same thickness. Of course, it's the same spacing of holes, everything that's necessary. But you can see, you know, no feet. So it's not a big deal. What we got to do is just drill out these rivets. Once the rivets are drilled out, there's a couple of nylon washers, and those nylon washers will go in between the legs and the feet, and then you'd put a new rivet, which you just have to buy yourself some rivets, have a rivet gun, and just rivet it on. Now, you don't have to have rivets. You could put, you know, a bolt in there. You could just put a bolt all the way across, and it would do the same thing. However, I'm going to try to put it back the way that it was, and whatever you guys decide to do. Okay, so we have one that's still inside the RV that we were looking at that has some measurement stuff on it. But these are what came originally on the RV. These are the short legs that came on originally. These are the ones that MORryde sent us in case we needed a little bit extra length. And again, you could see they're just slightly longer, not much more longer. But they were longer, and I'm very appreciative that they sent us a pair, even though we could have used probably, you know, we have 2 steps. But they just weren't long enough still, even with the next problem that we had. So that's why we went ahead and fabricated these two. And these two, it may not make sense to you, but these two are the ones that will fully collapse inside the legs in case we get to a situation where the steps need to be flush with the ground after the RV's leveled. And then these are the really long ones. So hopefully we don't run into too many situations that we need these really long ones. But between these 2 pair, I think we'll be okay. And then we'll go ahead and keep these in case, for some reason, that this set needs to be flush also. Let's go ahead and put them on and see what they look like. Okay, so you guys can see that this is fully extended, these really long legs. And then again with that platform, which is on the other step behind us here, that platform can be used with these legs. So if we get into a situation where the back end is really high, like it was before, these legs fully extended, they still have enough material inside here to support the way that they should. And of course then the step would be in place to take up any, I mean basically this is like adding another step, which is really nice. It'll work out really, really well. But just to give you an idea, these are the really long ones, and this is what they look like. You can see even here, that's not fully retracted inside, and they still have to come out. That's kind of what the situation seems to be a lot of in our camping extravaganzas. That we don't have to have these things up in all the way. That's it. We're all good.